The Paladin W04 5600H mini PC with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of SSD. Hi friends and welcome to Victor's Reality. Today I'll be giving you my take on this very affordable mini PC. Though while small, it does accomplish a lot and it packs a punch for people who just want to browse, work on their Word document, and play some games while not spending a fortune. Now for today's testing, I will show this off with a 1440p monitor, as I prefer clarity and quality over 1080p. That's my personal preference, and you'll be able to see what kind of benchmarks you get. But to even get better performance on what you're going to see today, use a 1080p monitor, and you will be very surprised, especially with dual channel, what this mini PC can offer. It has 2 USB ports, 1 display port, 1 HDMI port, and 2 LAN ports with a power connection. All the accessories are included inside the box, even with a mount to get you going. Its form factor is what makes this special, with low noise and low heat. Well, according to a desktop, while this is very affordable, it does only come in single channel with 16 gigs of RAM. It's highly recommended that you upgrade to 2 sticks, either 8x8 or 16x16, equaling 32. In this video, I did buy an extra stick of RAM. As you can see here, the pictures are showing only 1 module is installed, but when you match it up with 16 gigs and the same RAM speed, this mini PC's performance actually jumps 40 to 50%, and you'll be able to see that in today's video with a couple of gaming benchmarks, as it's easy to open to install the RAM stick or change out your SSD. If you flip it over, you can access the fan. Everything is easy access. Once turning it on, I had no problem setting up Windows and getting started. Now, since we're going through a RAM SSD crisis right now, you can see the prices have jumped, but this specific PC is usually hovering around $250. Add that about $100 for the extra 16 gigs of RAM, we're looking at $350, $400 with tax. I'm saying this so you can get an overall picture of how much it costs versus, say, an Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, those more expensive consoles. What I love about this mini PC with that extra 16 gigs of RAM is it opens up a whole new market of PC games. By downloading Steam, you have access to close to 10,000 games that you can purchase, and many of those games can run easily on this PC. Here we have Radeon graphics, a 5600H processor, and a silent cooling system. Trust me, this is very quiet, even on full load, with playing real actual games like Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, things like that. This is a perfect mini PC for the younger crowd that can't spend a lot of money. This gives you a lot of bang for your buck. Again, because you can actually use this as a PC/gaming system. Now, this is primarily a monitor gaming channel, and I'm going to focus on that because the monitor I have this hooked up to is about $200, and it has an outstanding IPS panel. So for this combo, $600 gives you a monitor with an amazing PC gaming system. Again, for the younger crowd, don't expect to run the latest and greatest games on this PC, but it will get you far. Now, there are other configurations, and if you want that mini PC form factor with the power, you will have to pay for it. But we'll get to that in the end of the video. Let me show you the performance of the W04. Here I'm running Pizza Tower. As you can see, the frames per second is 60. That's what we're trying to hit. Always above 30, but if we can get to 60 plus, that's the golden territory, at least for the price of this mini PC. Everything is running smoothly, no hiccups. And as you can see with the RAM, this is in single channel. I haven't installed the second 16 gigs of RAM yet, which tremendously increases the performance. And with a combination of a great monitor, a low-priced monitor, but with an advanced panel, and this mini PC, it's a win-win combo. Again, like I said, for the younger crowd, you don't want to spend too much money, this is a very good option. Here, going to the Apple website. Here, scrolling, everything is pinpoint, super fast. Here on YouTube, scrolling down through videos. And again, this is with 16 gigs of RAM. But let's just say you can't afford $100 to upgrade the RAM just yet. This will get you very far. Here we're looking at a 4K HDR video. This mini PC, with what's included, can handle it no issues whatsoever. So far in my testing, there hasn't been a delay or skipping with 4K HDR. And you can run many 4K HDR videos, Word documents, and this system can still handle everything. So now I'm going to install a second 16 gig module, totaling it to 32 gigs, and running it in dual channel. Here on the left, you can see how it's out of the box, and on the right, with that second stick. Loading times and graphic performance, FPS, is faster, and in some cases, 2 times the performance, or I would say less skipping. You can see the image on the right is way faster, snappier. You're gonna have a much more better experience. Now, Mortal Kombat on low is still a demanding game. I put this here as a worst case scenario. That's why if you go for a tier higher of the Paladin mini PCs, you should be able to run this at 60 frames per second. Here with dual channel, with 32 gigs, we're running here at 45 FPS on average. And as a single channel on the left is still running, it takes quite a while its average is 27 FPS. So you can see that second stick does help the mini PC tremendously. Now here we have Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate 3. What I want you to notice is look at the background. The one on the right, I would say, has a lot of things going. Look at the FPS. And for the FPS, the one on the left is around 53-55 frames, while on the right it's a steady 60. Maybe a drop to 59-58 here or there, but it stays at 60, almost locked, with all that action going on. While on the left, there are stutters, and the frame is dropping under 60. Again, we want to get to 60, that's the golden territory. Now this is a very demanding game. For whatever reason, SpongeBob with those grass effects really is taxing. Here you can see on the left, single channel runs at 16 frames per second, but on the right, it doubles it to 31-32 frames, with dips to 28 or 29 frames. I do wish this ran a little bit better, but this is a very graphically demanding game, and as you can see, that second stick really helps. Or if you get a higher tiered Paladin PC, you would see better performance. Mind you, this is at 1440p. If you have a 1080p monitor, you will even get better performance, so keep that in mind. I chose 1440p for my family because I want them to have that clarity. Nowadays, 1440p should be mainstream, but 1080p would offer you better performance. Now every young person needs Roblox in their life. And as you can see here, the dual channel memory makes Roblox run smoother. And what they've told me, it's a much better, less stuttery experience with the dual channel. So like I say, the dual channel is a must for these mini PCs. It doesn't even matter if you go higher tier. Make sure it's at least 32 gigs with dual channel. I mean, if you can't afford 16, maybe 2 8 modules. Just make sure you're running it in dual channel. You can easily see the one on the left is stuttery, while on the right, it's buttery smooth. And trust me, the young people can see it. They tell me the one on the left was unplayable, while the one on the right gives performance like an Xbox Series S or a higher end PC. You get what I'm saying? So don't skimp out. Get a higher tier mini PC or at least run it in dual channel. Now, like I said, the price right now is at $379. You know the market. We're running through a RAM SSD crisis. Well, I would call it crisis. Hopefully it gets better by the time you see this. Or if you're in the market for a mini PC and prices have come down, this should be around $250 to $300, depending on the market, depending on where you live. But there are other variants of the specific mini PC that will give you better performance, especially in more popular higher end games. Here at 1080p, you can see CSGO, Grand Theft Auto 5, Fortnite, Dota 2. We're looking at close to 200 frames with a minimum of 60. So across the board of all these games, a higher performing mini PC will go a long way in playing everything that you need. What I got my eye on is something like this. The Ryzen 9 7940HS, 669, but you're getting 32 gigs of DDR5 and a 1TB SSD. And it has LED lighting. You're getting an upgraded GPU with a 780M. Like I said, Paladin has many options. I'm just testing the bare bones one. So anything you get, you're going to get better performance, and especially if you use it with a 1080p monitor. Here today shown was at 1440p. So friends, there you have it. This amazing Paladin mini PC, the W04, with the 5600H processor and Radeon graphics, with 512 SSD and that's 16 gigs of DDR4, which can be upgraded to make it dual channel. Gives you tons of performance. Just though in my opinion, wait until the prices drop or on a sale, like Prime Day or a holiday. If you do want to see other kinds of games, as this is a gaming channel, please leave a comment down below on what game you'd like to see. I'm going to be using this mini PC for Marvel vs. Capcom games, Castlevania, Pizza Tower, Roblox. You get what I'm saying? That's what my family is going to use it for. And at $250 to $300, with being able to browse the internet, YouTube, it's perfect for work and play. You can't beat it at that price. Anyway friends, I hope you found this video helpful. Please hit that like button if you did find it helpful. Consider subscribing if you want more information on Paladin mini PCs, or leave a comment down below if you want to see more benchmarking or any questions you may have. I will get to the questions as fast as possible. Thanks for watching friends. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys next time.